My goodness.
Okay, we're in. I don't know what the cough is all about. Something's coming up and out.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hearing.
Good.
Thanks, Dar.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to say this is just a time to come together and share and share our love and connection and the new year and whatever. It was very clear to me that no matter what was coughing itself up, that we were here to come together. And interesting that, you know, this jungle bunny thing happened, and I just want to say, like, for me, it's just about embracing it and loving because I think it's just a piece of unsurety and not knowing, you know, what wants to come up and out. And so I just leave it open for, you know, had a beautiful connection with Julie and Kara. We did a beautiful healing from the Montecito area, which was and the outlying watershed area for Ojai. And yeah, so I'm just gonna step back and let people just have a little party reunion. Let's party. Let's continue this party.
There you go.
Just to clarify, that was Judy and Kara, not Julie.
Apologize. I've been on the phone with Julie all day, so that's part of my.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try to go on in the computer now, so hopefully I'll see you in a second.
Okay. Naj, are you on for half an hour or do you need to leave?
Well, I'll stay on as long as I can, probably 15 minutes.
Well, then I think you should go first.
Yeah. There you go.
Go first, check in.
Check in.
Check in. Well, it's summer here. It's hot. It's very hot. And still. And yesterday morning, which was your morning, Charlie, I was down on the beach before dawn, and it was the most exquisite morning, your Friday morning here, which was yesterday morning for me, but your Friday morning. And when I went down the beach, there was this absolutely perfect sliver of moon. So the sun comes up here, the moon was here, and just directly above it was a star.
Wonderful.
And the ocean was as still, it was like velvet. And it was just, I said, oh, took your breath away. So a special time. I don't know what's happening astrologically, but it just feels like a really special time right now. And my Friday was huge, really big day. So maybe it's just, I'm glad it's Saturday, put it that way. Life's been full, as always, for me. Back at the workplace, I'm now doing 4 days a week at Hemp Foods Australia. And we've got the auditors coming on Monday, so that's been like 10-hour days, and I'm exhausted. And in between, I did 15 sessions while I was in North Queensland for 2 weeks, and I've done 3 while I've been here in this week. And so life's very, very full. But I feel energized and excited with the move I'm doing. I've found a lot of reserve energy coming out of me, creative energy that has been missing for all of 2017. I think that flood really just shook me to the core, and I feel like I'm finally coming out of the haze of all of those events. Looking ahead, I'm excited about the future, but I don't see a lot of time. I love our connection. I love I really didn't want to miss meeting with you all. Charlie, I've been deleting emails by the million from my text, but none of yours. You are a keeper.
Oh my.
Don't stop doing what you're doing. Send so much light out into the world. What else? Well, I was in North Queensland. My daughter's just bought a farm, about 140 acre. It's about 1,000 metres above sea level. It's prime country. It was a biodynamic farm. 2 people before her had lived in the house. They both died of cancer, and it's a very old farmhouse, very old history. And I was really wanting to douse the place before they got in there. I arrived, they'd been in there for 2 days, and boxes everywhere, and I left 2 weeks later, and it was a home. And I immediately located 2 negative vortexes, and I thought, how am I going to deal with this? Took me about 3 days to work out how to deal with that. And then I brought crystals with me, and I did the Kree Ma, and I did a Merkaba around the whole house. It's probably about an acre, I suppose, around the house and the farm sheds, the immediate vicinity of the property. And it went from a reading of 70 to 275 at the end. And I was really happy about them being there and felt really positive about their new move that they've done. So that was a really nice thing to do for my family. And then I have a very dear girlfriend who's been down here quite a few times, and we've done some trips together. And she really wanted me to come and douse her house in this town called Ravenshoe. But when we went to the place, I'd run out of rods, only had half a dozen rods. So I said, we'll have to use the crystals. So we went to this little shop that sold them, and I picked out the ones, and it came to $90, and she just put her hands across the chest and she said, no, we're not doing it. I can't afford it. And I went, oh, no. So the woman in the shop had these other older crystals, and they had been tumbled, but they were almost square and not round, like really tumbled, and they're apparently very old type of quartz. And I had my pendulum with me, and I asked if we could use them, and they said yes. So I did, and it seemed to work. And so she's now got a crystal Merkaba around her house. We did the Tubes of Light meditation. She was just so grateful. And I feel like there's a little bit of light coming into that place too. So it just felt really, really wonderful to be able to do that while I was up there. And up there, I mean, it's a 2.5 hour flight to get there. It's a long way from where I live now. It's right up in the tropics and the highlands, the highest town in Queensland. So it's a beautiful place. And I long to be back there, actually. Who knows, I might end up there one day. A winter house and a summer house. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah. So yeah, life's full with my work and my family and doing this and that. So going ahead in this year ahead is a year of consolidation for me. Yeah, a few little trips in mind, but nothing concrete at the moment. I think that I'm complete. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful to see you bubble. You're bubbling. You're bubbling. It's lovely to see you bubbling.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I feel it. I feel excited and enlivened, yes.
You just listened and you did it, right? You just
Yeah.
you asked if the crystals would work, and you innovated in the moment. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I still did the Kree Ma with those crystals, and with my dowsing rods, tapped it 9 times every 9. And, I think that's that conscious intention. I think that's the power of what we do, is just trusting and connecting with the heart and the higher realm, and so be it. Oh, I have to tell you one other thing. we've got on the property, they've got these big tanks and they've got plans to do things, and they don't know where the pipes are under the ground. And I said, oh, I've got the dowsing rods. We can do it. And I'm positive I had it right. Exactly. It was a line. You could walk across it, and we put paint on the ground where the dowsing rods were saying the pipe was. And we got down to a place near the cow yards about a metre from the ramp where you load the cattle. And came down, and then it shifted and it went like in a T intersection. So we thought, oh, well, we better check it. And further up the hill, it had told me it was about 2.5 feet under the ground. But down there, we started digging. We got down to 3 feet and still didn't find it. And when I left, we still haven't found it. So I'm yet to find out whether the rods are correct. But anyway, we did map the whole property with the dowsing rods for the underground pipes. So, and they, Scott, my son-in-law, he was watching. He said, oh, no, it's there. I believe you. And he's as straight as they come. So he believes me. So I'll let you know if I'm a total failure or not.
That's a fun story. Nancy Chacon, I don't do a lot of, wells or deep water, and, I just haven't. But Nancy Chaconis did this spring, and she did find the water in the well. She, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, it's fun to hear the stories and the courageous acts of dowsing.
What a great title for a book.
There's a chapter right there.
Anyone else?
I was sort of off. Are we doing check-in, or is that what we're doing? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go. So Naj, I have to say, I'm like so excited, and it sounds silly for me to say proud, but I'm proud of all of us, but for just how brave you were going ahead and doing all those things. It's so cool. Shelley and I we had a really nice talk yesterday morning, was it? It seems like longer. I don't know when it was. Time is really strange right now, I'm telling you. I'm not sure if you know, Nash, but we had some really serious fires here in Southern California, and that totally surrounded the Ojai Valley. If you look at, and I can maybe just, I'll send Shelley a map in a minute, but there's a map that literally has a circle around the Ojai Valley. Like, it's miraculous that this town did not burn. We're totally covered by, surrounded by these mountains, and they are all black. Like, the vegetation is gone from all of them. And there's four roads that are outlets from the valley, and all 4 of them had fire on all sides of them, and at different times were closed. So it was definitely the most scary thing I've ever experienced in my life. Or I felt like my life was threatened. Rocky was determined that we weren't going to leave, and it was really interesting because of the first started Sunday night, Monday night, and he and I really got in a fight. I was like, what is so freaking important about this house? Like, why are we not leaving? I mean, I was just really, and then I woke up the next morning, and it's when I called and asked for our group to get together, and I just woke up with a whole different feeling. I just woke up that there's a reason why I was here, and I also think that it had, it actually wasn't better. Actually, after that, the fire was closer to us, because that night, on Wednesday night, they burnt the mountain right behind our house. That's like literally across the creek. But for whatever reason, I think maybe I just stepped into my alignment more and just knew that I was safe, and then there was a reason why I was here. And I went up on top of our motorhome in the back where I could kind of see 360. And I have this visual because that's where I was standing when I talked to Shelley and Charlie and Tyson and about what to do and how to call in some assistance. And from that point, it just shifted. Like all of a sudden, I became a voice on Facebook, calm and telling people what was happening and showing pictures of, being more informing and keeping people calm. And I've since gotten a lot of feedback about that. So it was very interesting to see how it shifted for me because I was definitely in a panic at the beginning. There's no doubt about it. Anyway, so then we got through the town sort of finally, like we literally started unpacking our cars because we were all, at one point, we were all under mandatory evacuation. And kind of relaxed just before Christmas, pushed through the holidays, and then boom, we have the rains coming. And so all those barren hills now have no vegetation to hold the dirt. And so we were back in the same mode of it again of preparing for that. And as you probably know, the rains came, and we're lucky here in the Ojai Valley because I think because we're east-west facing, and so we were protected from the winds and the rain, and we didn't get the inches of rain. They actually had predicted 6 inches for us, and ended up getting like 2. But Montecito and Summerlin did get more, and so they're the ones that had this awful flooding and mudslides. And I think I know there was at least 17 people killed, and there's still a lot still. So it's just horrendous. It's just awful. You couldn't have put it. So we did a call Tuesday night with Kara and I co-hosted I have to say Shelley was right there with us. We hosted a Zoom call based initially from her Facebook group, the Land Healing Group, and it was really sweet. We had I don't know, 14 or 15 people, and they were Texas and Arizona. I mean, we had like 13 different states plus Germany. Our friend Claudia,
Wow.
Germany. Yeah, it was 4 a.m. for her. It's really beautiful, and just sort of felt into it and listened, and felt into the valley here and about the fires, and then kind of moved down into the Montecito area and the water. And then Shelley brought up a specific house that she knows in Montecito that actually survived, but the water surrounded it, and the houses around it were all taken away. And love how those calls happen. Somebody will say one thing and another person will sort of build on it, and if someone's brave, like I'm seeing this picture, and this one woman said that, and then it turned out it was about this house that Shelley had brought up specifically, but we didn't have a picture of the house, so the woman didn't know anything, and Shelley said, oh wow, well actually that ties in, and we went into a whole further story that tied us into the Maori, and just it opened the whole thing up. And we heard from the elementals a bit, and we learned a bit that oil and the oil rigs and on the oil production here in the area, several people got that it was part of the issue. Fossil fuel and the drilling. There's a lot of drilling here and oil rigs off the coast. And then also earthquake came up, which I've been feeling for months actually. So I'm hoping that's not our next immediate. But it's been a wild ride. I've been trying to connect in and really listen as to what it's about, and complex. You know, I don't think it's as simple as the earth's mad at us because of all that we've done, which is what a lot of people are, you know, jumping to. I think combination of her growing and shifting and this natural, and we didn't have fires for 50 years in many of these hills because we prevented them, and so when it finally comes, they're huge and we can't stop them. I think that part's part of the natural process, and that happens, and there's barren hills and you have rain and you get mudslides. I mean, it's just, I'm not saying it's all a mixture. So anyway, I would love it if this group at some point would be interested in taking some time and listening, you know, focusing in. That, I think that would be really fun. We could take a map and douse the area and whatever we decided to do. Certainly would be greatly appreciated. As there's still an emotional big fear here, and we're going to have it for a couple years because these hills won't, the vegetation won't be all grown in for a couple years. So every time it rains, we're going to be in this same. Anyway, that's my update on my local, and I have a couple more dowsing jobs in the next couple of weeks, so those are starting to come in, and just this was a little bit of an interruption in my opening to doing this and write full time, but I was able to. We did 3 healing days volunteering. I did write for 3 days with other practitioners, offering it to the community, and we worked on emotions and lungs because we had smoke, really bad smoke and ash for really a couple of weeks. So we're all, you can hear my voice. I mean, my lungs are still messed up. But anyway, that's my scoop. And with that, I'm complete. Sorry, I went on a little bit too long.
Okay, ladies first, Charlie.
I'll just interrupt before we start, Darlis. I could have to go any minute, so I'll just wave and say goodbye if that's the case, okay? But yeah, lovely to hear you and see you.
Thank you.
So I missed a piece. I'm sorry. So since Naj has to go, we're rescheduling for a couple of weeks to kind of really dive into the group and where we want to go from here. Is that the plan?
Well, we talked about next Friday, and she can do it. The following Friday she can't. So I don't know what beyond
The
that.
one after that I could, but yeah, this next one in 1 week or in 3 weeks I can.
Okay. Next Friday works for me.
But we can connect by email.
Yeah.
Well, it's really good to see you got your glow on, Naj. And Judy, it's just wonderful to see your face. I'm so sorry I couldn't participate the other night, and I love the idea of us working on that area, you know, again, as this group. Let's see, I've been really busy with my Akashic record business, doing tons and tons of readings all through the holidays, which was great, wonderful fun. And getting ready to do another class. And then the dowsing jobs started coming in. I was supposed to do 2 or 3 this week, and it didn't happen. So we'll take a look at, we'll just have to reschedule. But some really exciting ones. One is for a local gynecologist, and she's a very, very busy practitioner. She's total medical, but is open for like what we have to offer. And she began working with my friend Hattie, and I said out loud, you know what? I want to work with that outfit. And 20 minutes later, Hattie called and said, their house needs doused. I was just there. I told them to call you. So it was really wonderful to talk to a physician who's open to this. She has 4 different centers that she operates out of, and she's getting ready to open a whole huge wellness center right in Palm Beach Gardens, right in the next town over. And she wants all of the esoteric stuff to be available to all of her patients. Her email list goes out to 70,000 people. So, so very excited about that. Her husband is an electrical engineer, and not that he's closed, but he wants more information. So I've been sending him videos and all this information on dowsing, and that's kind of been fun. And he's like digging into all of that. And then there's a local spiritual retreat that has horses, and they just said last week they really want me to come out and douse because they're going to start doing a lot of retreats out there, and they want it for the horses. So there is so much coming in that I hardly keep track. I met these young people that are doing a conscious community in Tennessee, and we became very connected, and I just started connecting them with all these people. And so that's kind of been fun to watch that whole thing unfold. I don't know. It is too much to even go into, but very exciting. And what keeps coming, the thread that keeps coming through is how important community is. Just over and over and over in the records. And so I've been spending time where I might otherwise do other things. Being in community is very, very important. And so I'm making gobs of time for that. And it feels right. It feels like we are at a huge new beginning. And that is really important for me, just to keep growing the communities that I'm in, and making sure that I'm making time to be in community. And I was on the call, I was on a call yesterday morning with Joseph Rosano, who 11 days prior to that call was in a terrific car accident. And we all pulled together from all over the world and were sending him energy and prayers and light and all of that. And he's home. They were first saying that and I know Shelley's involved in this group, they were saying that he broke his sternum, an ankle, facial bones, lacerations all over him. And they took him to another hospital about the surgery, and they didn't do any surgeries. So that was a really emotional call for me, because I feel deeply that this is the time for us to know our own power in a greater way, and to really own it. And I got on that call as busy as I was yesterday, because I wanted to hear Joseph's voice. I know him fairly well, and I would know more from his voice than any other modality of how he was doing. And he was strong, and he was clear, and it truly is miraculous. And that's the power of who we are. And I think that this is a time for deep remembrance, no denial, and we have a lot to offer this planet, and it's time to get to it, but in a good way, in a fun way, in a delicious way, in a lighthearted way. And I just had Noelle and Bob here from CCC. They blow into town for less than 24 hours, and so many of my friends wanted to meet him, and that's how I have this last minute impromptu party last night. And they were like, and it was just a fraction of my local people, and they were just totally blown away. Just like, holy cow, somebody's doing a channeling, and just great fun and great connection. And that's, I just know for me, that's really, and I think for all of us, being in community, because, and Noelle and I just went to see the movie, The Post. I've been waiting for that movie to come out, and it was a lot of emotion coming up. That's just the very tip of the iceberg of the type of disclosure that we are going to witness on this planet in every arena. And we have to stand in our power and our light. And Judy, you spoke about this, being a pillar of calm in the climatic, you know, in the climatic, I can't even talk, in the chaos around us. And I was watching you and feeling you as that was happening. And that is what we're being called to do. And during that movie, I was emotional because we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't seen anything yet. But together in community and with owning our own power, we will be the pillar of calmness in our own communities. And with each other, we'll have all the love and support that we would ever need. And what just happened to Joseph in 11 days is living, breathing proof of that. And with that, I'm complete.
Well, it's so beautiful to hear each of your stories. It's been an amazing time for all of us, and with myself included. I've stepped out more openly and opened my heart more to what I'm truly called to be doing here. And dowsing is a small part of that, but it's a big part. And the interesting story for me was I was called by a woman who was looking for a handyman, which I sometimes do on the side, for just a few people, and ended up working on sinkholes. And so we're called to where we're supposed to be. And the amazing story of that was the house. I ended up dowsing the house, and I couldn't work on the sinkholes until I blessed the river. I had to work with the ancient Micmac, the first Micmac tribes. I wasn't allowed to place a star tetrahedron around the property. I had to do an 8-pointed star. So there were a lot of things guided when I did the water blessing on the creek, which is basically the undercurrent water that goes under all of this property. It's not the only sinkhole in the neighborhood. There's a lot of them. So I'm sure there'll be more people asking what took place. Bye, Naj, we love you. and so that it was an exciting process to work with that. And then Kara, I mentioned it to Kara, and she says, well, I have a sinkhole, a client that's in, it's right near Jim Coleman's crystal mine. And that's where I'm using my crystals from now. I was guided to use the Arkansas crystals in my grids. So it's been just an amazing time of tuning in and tapping in and saying, okay, what's next? Where do I go? What do I do? And following that guidance, and then just realizing it really doesn't matter what other people think about us or how they look at us. That what's important is that, as each of you have said, is that we stand in our own power and bring that through. And the gift is that we're all so unique that when we get into a group, it compounds the situation. And the other night with Judy and Kara, at the time, yeah, it's just been crazy the past couple of weeks. I don't know what day it is. We did 7 days of rest. It was supposed to be the first 7 days of the year of rest. I'm exhausted. I'm still recuperating. But the amazing thing is that in all of that, there's a clarity and a vision. And on your call, I came in the call because I thought I was going to miss it. And it was actually an hour later than I had, like tonight. I was off. So I joined the call, and everybody's in there, and I got the message. I'm just here to hold energy and just to transfer the energy to them. And so it was powerful for them. It was powerful to just sit there and watch it unfold and not beat myself up, just say, no, this is what I'm here to do. I'm just here to hold the energy. So it was a powerful night doing that. So again, what we're being called to do is unique for all of us sometimes, and maybe the first time we experience doing something like that. But somewhere within us, we're mustering up the intention and the courage and letting go of the fear of saying, yeah, no, this is what we're here to do. This is what we came here for. And so it's exciting. And so, yeah, so the sinkhole, I still haven't addressed the sinkhole, but it's there. The house is protected. We've shifted the energy. We shifted the land. We shifted the river. And so, yeah, it was fun. It was fun because I actually enlisted two of the people in the house who were highly empathic. And we all did the opening of the dowsing. And I said, tap in, listen. And so it's not just me doing this, it's all of us. So there was 4 of us, and they got messages that I never would have got. And so it was fun. And they were, amazed because they never, would have thought of doing that, talking to a house and asking the house if it had a message for them. It was like so bizarre to say that. And it was like, wow, that's really strange. And they said, well, this is it. You can talk to anything and ask it. So again, part of it is teaching, part of it is doing, part of it is being the pillars, as you said. And yeah, so yeah, I've been having some fun and looking forward to doing some more dowsing. And I'm making the rods for Kara and so that's, she's taking off on that. Yeah, so it's just a fun time to be here, and the busy is okay because it's all about, I think, honing down to what I really feel called to do and letting some of the other stuff, it's all beautiful, but it's just doesn't hold the same interest. And so letting that go and then just trying to fit in where I feel most comfortable. So I'm sure you all feel the same way. And with that, I'm complete. If there is ever a complete Charlie.
Home.
Sorry, Shell, before you go, I'm Charlie. I just wanted to apologize for not mentioning that you were on the call with us. And it was so beautiful that how you
I knew I was there. I didn't need the recognition.
I want to personally acknowledge you and how grateful I am, because that was new for me, hosting a call like that. And we had thought that we were going to have certain things happen and certain people come and houses, and things all shifted and changed. And Kara and I, just before the call, we went on and we're like, okay, we're just in total trust, and whoever shows up and whatever happens. And it ended up being beautiful. And part of it was thank you for holding that. And I realize now how much it was, and it allows us.
It was a massive amount of energy. That's all I can say. It was a massive amount of energy that was coming through. So
that's so cool to hear. So is that because we were tapping into
part of it? Yeah, part of it, the collective.
Yes. About the support and those that wanted to talk to us, or both?
Both. And what the experience is that there were so many of you that were already in the field and already tuning in. So when I arrived, that's what I felt was that energy. And I knew that for me to jump in at that point was, it wasn't that it was going to be disruptive, but it would be like me trying to catch up to where you were on, how do I say, your dimension. And I knew that wasn't the purpose. My purpose was to gather more energy and bring the energy of more beings and elementals and add to your energy field, and to raise that so that you could be more visual, more empathic to what you were doing. And so that was, I do that in a lot of calls anyway, but it was not specifically, that was the only thing I was doing. So it was fun to channel that much energy through.
It's just so great to be aware of. I now know that I'll either ask someone to do that on any call, or I'll ask myself
Well,
to
right.
do
Well, you know what?
right? I can have part of myself doing that and say, okay, thanks, you got that covered now.
And it reminded me of this group when we were doing the remote dowsing, and we had decided that somebody needs to sort of hold the energy and step back and sort of watch
Yeah.
everybody else. And that's what it dawned on me. It just came through very clear that that's exactly when we were doing Bethlehem, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, it brought it right back and said, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm supposed to, and this is my job. And so, yeah, I just went into it, which is, but again, we've all been stepping into this. And every time we do something, we learn a little bit more.
Yeah. Darlis, the one other thing that came out of our call on Tuesday was, with the overwhelm of all this happening, the question just came to me asking in this call was, what can we do? What can we do? And what I clearly heard was teach people to listen. And it's really what we do. It's really what we all do in our different way. Listening to the Akashic Records. Dowsing is listening. It's a tool to listen, right? And it's what we're all, Charlie's holding the field so we can listen. But it just was sort of like so precise. It was just a beautiful way, like teach people to listen. So I offer that up for all of us. It's our purpose. I do have another call right now. I will wait until they call, but I will have to just jump off.
Do you want to just end and we can just continue?
Yeah, maybe so. I do really look forward to dropping in with you guys again next Friday. Would be wonderful.
Well, let's check.
I'm going to be at a spiritual retreat. I can't do next Friday, but
maybe it's just kind of a continuation, and I mean, essentially just we're just sharing for now, and just feeling the field and listening, and
yeah, there's so much movement going on. I feel like all of us, as we're saying, so many things are coming in work-wise, and it's shifting. So it may not quite be the time to make a big plan. It's continuing to listen. I feel like this group is still is super wonderful and powerful. It's part of that community you're talking about, and just today's call, even if it's just to come together and hold each other during this period, I think that's great. And then I do think there's other beautiful things that we can do together. So I'm open to exploring.
So I would like just 3 minutes to share something. I don't need to go into any details. My stepping into 2018 has really been very different. It's been completely internal, quiet, and yet the 7 days of rest was just embodying this experience of wholeness in a really profound way for me. It was very deep and balancing, and there were all these beautiful things that were happening in community, more as a global community. And but I really got a real hint of this, the term that's kind of being used is eco-governance, and the sense of consciously understanding that we need to be a whole system, conscious whole system, which is inclusive of the trees and the water and the earth, and really bringing that into the governing system as a whole, as whole beings within the whole, serving the whole. So that's the big picture. But what I wanted to bring in, because I really am feeling this. So last night I stayed up. It was till almost 2:30 in the night, and I somehow found this thread of. I went in to check about what was happening in Montecito and Santa Barbara. And I don't know how I found it, but I found these numerous videos of helicopter conversations, the rescue teams, and they were going and they were honing in on all the different areas. And I don't know what happened to me. I think that's why I was so discombobulated for the first time. I think I just, I can feel it. I couldn't even speak because the size of these boulders that came out, that the earth, the coughing, that's it. It was coughing up the blood. It was coughing up the water. It was, the hugest boulders you've ever seen, and hundreds of them. You almost go like, well, where were they hiding under that soil? You see little boulders and you see some boulders, and I think for me, it was just like they showed everything except for that house. And I don't know actually that it's still there. And it would make sense that the water went around it because of the way the street is. But I watched cars driving to try to, like boats, trying to hold fast. And I think there's something, I know there's lots of different traumas all over the world that are happening, and they're happening fast and they're happening a lot. And we know we're not fools in all of this. But I just want to say that in terms of being quiet and listening, like I started to feel something very, very deep. And it was different than all the communities coming together to help each other. It was something very different. It was that the bowels of the earth moving in a way that, we're, yes, organic and natural, but there's something else there. There's something that's wanting to be presenced, or, because see, the thing is, like Judy, you were saying, the next rain, all the saturation people are insane to rebuild there right now. Or maybe it's about tree sisters and really waiting till it dries out enough to start planting, and like fast. I don't know what it is, but I really got deeply affected by just watching those helicopters and honing in on, so I don't know how to explain it. And I know if you were in Puerto Rico, you would be feeling a very similar thing. I think it's just fascinating to me that it hits such the wealthy area of California. It's, beside Beverly Hills, you've got Montecito, and whatever that will entail and mean for people. And obviously Ojai was big too, but these floods on top of it. So I'm kind of just holding that. I don't know what it all is. And I feel for me, it's interesting. I love this community, and yet for me, I feel like this is like I'm going deep in to something that I've never met. And I think it is that becoming conscious, like you said, Darlis, of really claiming that power. Like, enough. You have to, I feel like I would just want to burst into tears. Like, maybe that's those floods. It's like, please own this, be this, stand, and for me, my greatest joy right now is writing, and this movie about water, this movie about relationship with the earth, this movie of really the when you say community, what I'm feeling in my body is common unity, this communion with the divine within, and showing up in the ways that each one, and then there's no judgment. It's just find that energy and track it. Find those ones that you're resonating with. Tomorrow you might be resonating with somebody else. It doesn't even matter anymore. It's just that deep calling of the earth within us as her body. I think that's what I'm feeling, is like she's having to make such a big thing to say, I am you, I'm your body, I'm all your emotions, I'm the boulders that haven't moved in you for lifetimes. They're moving, so I guess that was just something that was coming through. So I really love you all, and I really trust the ups and downs, and spitting out, and all of it. I trust it, and so I'm really happy to be here tonight. And we will just come together next Friday night if it feels right, and those that can come on, and just simply hold it as just a community gathering, and we'll just listen, and it will grow itself and seed itself the way it wants to. So with that, thank you for this.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. So wonderful to see all of you.
And
Yes.
Judy, it's happening tomorrow night, right? Too, the second part of
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow morning from 9 to 11 Pacific
it's
time.
12, yeah, it's 12 here, 12 to 2
right.
on the East Coast.
Okay, so anyway, that's another opportunity just to hold, even if you can't get on, just to hold.
Right. So I'll hold the space. I'm going to be at the beach doing the water blessing with a group. So
Wonderful.
place to hold it.
Oh, I love those guys. Wow. Ooh, I've been wanting to come over there for that Saturday.
They're powerful, and they're really young. Oh my God, so wonderful to see
With
them.
Kristen Bauer, right? Kristen Bauer, right?
Oh no, I'm doing it in Jupiter. It's with the Crystal Vibe Tribe.
There you go.
They're like
Perfect.
a whole group of like 20 somethings.
Awesome. The Crystal Kids. I love them. Yeah.
Their name is the Crystal Vibe Tribe.
Yeah.
Is there
Okay.
is there any information about that, or is it just a quiet?
Just a kind of a local thing that we just been gathering. Usually we gather on the 11th, so I don't know why the change, but whatever. So it's tomorrow. But usually on the 11th of each month, they try to gather on the beach for a water blessing.
Oh my God! Please let us know about from Lumen Waters. We can, I would.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or take a picture at least that.
Oh yeah.
Hold
We'll
that.
put a picture on the Facebook. Yeah. Okay. All right. Love you all.
Love you.
Love you.
Yes. Bless you all. And
Rest.
Love. Thank
Love,
you.
love.
Love
Thank
you.
you. Bye, Judy.